So, last week we worked on finding the types of questions that we would see in expository. This week we're going to really work on narrative and get ready for test, reading on demand. And what I ask you to do is to look at these pieces and to see if you can see any patterns or any things about them that you're noticing some similarities. So when we get to the test and we look and we go, oh, this is narrative, this is some of the things I can expect. I heard Eli say they're asking a lot about characters. Well, that makes sense because a narrative is a story, and what's in a story? Characters. All kinds of questions about characters and narrative that you probably would not see in expository. What other types of things are you noticing besides characters?
The questions that they're asking, it kind of looks like a story form that they would ask.
Okay,
Fiction.
so
They,
what kind of, explain to me like story form, what do you mean by that?
like, narrative, non-fiction is told in the story form, and then fiction is a fake story.
Okay,
And
all right. Okay, some of those most likely words. What else besides characters, Riley, would be in a story?
Dialogue.
Okay, dialogue might be in a story. How about the setting? How about the plot or the problem?
the quotation marks.
That's dialogue, okay? The solution. Did you notice, were there any questions in here that asked you to just focus on one part of the story? Okay, there was, wasn't there? So again, similar to our close read that we've been doing all year, it says in paragraph 2, you know you're going to need to really focus, go back and reread paragraph 2 with that question in mind, right? Another thing that I would really highly suggest is you take notes as you're reading the first time. So we know when we're doing multiple choice, the first thing we do is read the questions so we know what we're thinking about. And then we read the text, and then we go back and read the questions and answer them using the text to help us, right? You can have scrap paper during the pause test. So you may want to create a story mountain or do the Fab 5 as you're reading so you already have those answers in your head. Taking notes is a great strategy when you're taking a test, especially if you have the chance to have scrap paper, and you can have scrap paper. So you could make a story mountain, or you could answer the who, wants, what, but, so then, as you're reading, and then when you go back, it'll help you with your answers on the test, okay? So, we know that some common questions for narrative text usually has something to do with that whole idea of story form. It's going to ask you about the plot, about the setting, about the characters. It may ask you about character traits and ask you to justify or use text evidence. Why do you think the character acted this way? Last week when we did this one, we found out that they asked lots of questions about facts that you probably learned. Down here, lots of story questions, story elements, right? Because narrative is a story. All right. Will you shut that off, please?